So, all right, I think people are coming in. So,
Awesome.
welcome everybody to our Tithely webinar here today on August 12th. Jeez, we are get to the middle of August here, but we're so glad you're joining us. We're going to give a few minutes for people to come in and kind of get comfortable. And, if as you're coming in, what would be great is just put in the chat where you're from, what church you're part of, or what group you're part of, and just kind of give us a posting so we can kind of see who we got showing up. Yeah, let us know. Michigan.
Fun.
Is it bad that I can't spell my own state
Nope, I get that.
properly?
I gotta say it
Massachusetts.
out loud.
I'm like, I don't know. I think I messed this up too much. Campbell River Christian School, British Columbia, Canada. Nice.
Canada's in the house. Love it.
Yeah, there we go. We need a vote on whether or not I should have my name instead of saying Tithely Grow as people come into the webinar. If you have an opinion of that, feel free to state it
Awesome.
because Tithely.grow. There we go. So we got Maple Avenue, Holland, Michigan, South Dakota, Arizona. There you go.
Over here on the west.
Arizona with an exclamation point, though. That, I mean, sounds
I
excited.
love Arizona. I get it. I get the hype.
Connecticut. Okay, Susan, I lived in Connecticut for 12 years, actually. Southeast Connecticut.
So hot. It is. It's too hot to handle.
Grand Rapids. Awesome. Couple more minutes here. We got 36 people jumped in. This is awesome. Again, if you're just jumping on in, if you follow the trend, you can pop your where you are from inside the chat. We can call you out. Unlike our next event, which is next week, by the way, where you
Exciting.
win stuff for registering. We don't win stuff for registering in this, but please make note if you've not registered for the Tylee next event that is next week. Is that my brain's blanking? Is that next Tuesday or Wednesday? Oh boy. Hmm.
August 21.
August 21. Oh, so it's next Thursday. Okay, even better. That's right. Next Thursday. Thank you, Allison. Covering for the Tidely employee that can't remember the super big event coming up. Next Thursday, make sure you register. And they're giving away so much in that event. And Dean and Frank, everyone else that presents, it's a spectacle. It's quite a show. They do a good job. So okay, well, I think we got a lot of people coming in here, so we're going to get started just on a general sense. Today's Tidely webinar is just titled Sites Refresher. Our goal here today, thank you for putting it in the chat. Our goal here today is we're going to go through sites as if you've not seen it before, probably. And it's kind of walk through some of the different qualities of it, what you can do, and where to find how to do the things that you do want to do. And so sites refresher, let's come down here, scroll down. Question of the day. So we got a little more typing work for you. This is just a fun warm up to make sure that our fingers are loose and we're paying attention. But if you could become an expert instantly, I mean, just no work at all, just boom, in one thing, what would it be? You can put a short Y in there, but that might take longer to type in. But by all means, just type in, like, let's just see what people want to be really good at. And Haley, why don't you give us your answer? What's going on?
Yeah, I recently read a book called Super Communicators. So when I thought of this question, I think like the communication, instant expert at communication would be just helpful in life for my faith, for my job, for, any friendships, relationships. If I was a expert communicator, that would really benefit my life. So
Right? Expert in the Bible or playing guitar, astrophysics. All right, David. I like it.
languages is a
Well,
great one.
yes. I'd say for me, I think I've said this before, it'd be electrical work. I could do plumbing work, I can do carpentry stuff, I could do a fair amount of other things, but electrical work scares me. I don't want to get electrocuted or burn my house down, which I feel like are the mistakes you can have with that. So I'd be instantly just confident in wiring my house
Yep.
or whatever I'm working on. So all right, we'll take a couple more here, but let's keep going on. People will feel loose there. If you don't got something, it's totally fine. Think it in your brain, but it's kind of a fun exercise. Um, just our tag slide here for customer experience. We are by your side and for your growth. That's always our goal. And then the more important thing here, which we probably should move the slide up. I don't know why it's so late in the game here, but meet our team today. We have Haley. Haley, say hi and whatever else you want to say.
Hello, welcome. So happy to have you guys here.
And I'm Daniel, and actually, we're both part of the education team over here at Tithely. And so our job is to help inform our own company of what's going on and those outside who are using our product. And we enjoy doing so. Product suite. I always like this little poll here. If there's something online based that your church needs at Tithely here, we're trying to make sure we provide it, but not only provide it excellently. And so if there's something you need, check it out. And if you want more information about one of these products, just email us at grow@tithe.ly and you'll get information there. Perfect. There's the email. But we have a lot of great products and we do enjoy showing them off. And today we're going to be focusing on our sites, which is right here in our com section. Are background checks available already? Actually, yes, they are, Allison. They are back. And so inside of our Breeze product and inside of, if you have the Breeze product, you can use the background check function there. You have to be the account owner. So if you're not the account owner, make sure your account owner gets in there and starts working on it. We are working on some more features with it, but yeah, it's there. And the company that we have partnered with, it does a great job.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Do your kind of work order. Awesome. Great question, Allison. Okay, let's keep going. Got to get into sites. So I get distracted by the chat. And on that note, if the slide couldn't come any more cue, if you have any questions, Haley is going to talk in the chat with you, but not in the chat, in the Q&A section with you, I should say, because I am going to be going, trying to get through as much information to help build up this webinar in a great way. And so if you have a question, throw it in the Q&A section, and Haley will give you some answers either with help articles or she'll type it out. If you put it in the chat, there's a chance it'll get lost. And then at the end of the webinar, we'll have some time as well to go over some specific things that you may ask too. And so put questions in the Q&A section. But what we're covering today is sites. And sites, what I like about sites is I think we have a great site builder that hits the middle of the road. It's not a site builder that has every feature known to man and everything is editable, but it's not a site feature that's just plug and play and you kind of forget about it and it's all set up for you. You just got to enter one thing in. We try to balance between giving you flexibility and making it easy enough to build. And so our site builder getting started, if you've never built a site, you would click on sites. And if you have all access, it's including your subscription. If you don't have all access, you can subscribe for sites or all access, and that will give you access to it. But what happens is a site builder. You get in, you give some information, and you follow the prompts, and it'll guide you through each step. And what we will do is give you a basic level site. It's not going to have everything you need at first. It's going to have just a couple pages and some layouts and different functions that are going to be nice and easy for you to get started making edits to. At that point, you're going to want to add the users that you want to help your site. So if you go into your user settings, you're actually able to add in people who can access sites with you. So if you're the account owner and you sign up for it, but you're not the one building it, make sure you give some sites admins in there for yourself to help work on this. Finally, refine and edit. So this is super important. Once the site has been kind of built with our builder, get in there, add in the text you want, add in the people you want, add in the pictures and videos and sermons and events and all the kind of stuff we're going to show you here in a second, and really make it yours and launch your site. What I do want to say, what's great about a website, and I think it's a toss-up now because everyone thinks, oh, apps are great, and apps are amazing. You should use our app too. We love it. The reason a website is so important is the website is your front door of your digital footprint as a church. So the app a lot of times is people who go to your church, who have been visiting, gone for a while. That's the information, that's their access, it's communication. The website is going to be those people that are just checking your church out for the first time, haven't visited yet. They may be Googling churches in my area that are ... And if your website comes up, you want them to click in and feel welcomed, informed, and able to get to what they need to see really quickly. Now, don't get me wrong. You can have next level stuff in your sites. You can have deeper articles or things that people could deep dive into. But we've really seen a generational change on how people view sites. For example, my parents and people who are older than my parents, they will dig into a site for 3 hours straight and get lost and read every single article on there. And then I'm a millennial. Millennials, you got maybe 3 to 5 clicks, and then we're done. We're out. We're not looking anymore. Gen Z and younger, they may not even click anything. It has to be right there, fed to them. It's just different generations, how we receive information, how quickly we need it. And so you want to analyze that, who you're trying to reach, who you want to show up, who you want to see your site and why, and really have that in the back of your mind as you work on build a website. And this is for anything, not just a Tithely site. That is an information for any church element. Just a little background. I was in ministry for 12 years and did design the website of a couple different churches while I was doing that. And so I kind of get it. It's a lot of work. By the way, there is an option for someone to help create your site. If you want more information about that, email us at grow@tithe.ly and we can send you that information on how to reach out to it's a third party person, but they know our site builder intimately and can help you create a site for you. It's a great option. Okay, at the end. Okay, we're gonna stop here. Now let's get into the product. So here is our website. Well, this is my website that I play around with. When I was on onboarding for Tithely for a while, I used this to kind of show off what to do on websites. This is a video playing in the background of my header, right? And so this is a Tithely Next event from a couple years ago, but this is something you could feature on it. What we're going to do here is I'm going to go through the home page and kind of its own isolated features, and then I'm going to go through all of the different options under the admin settings on the top right corner, and then we'll kind of go through the plus button and a couple other minor features on top of that. And so if you have any questions, I go through something, or if there's something you want more answers to, pop it in there and we'll get to that. But home page. As I mentioned before, this is what you want to catch people's eyes with. Now, I'm not saying this is built that way. This is me just having fun. But a video playing on your header is actually not a bad idea if you can do something really cool there. One of my favorite things I've seen churches do is they actually put a video of what it's like to walk into their church as the background of their header. I think it helps a lot. It gives people a familiarity of what it's going to be like to visit you and come join you. And so you could do that. Now, when you're in here on the homepage, you have your own little, you got to ignore this. You have your own little header edit button right here. So if you're wondering, how do I change the stuff that's on the header? It's right here. Click this. And when you drop into it, this is where you can do the different functions that you want to show up in here. So what the text you want it to be there for the main heading and subheading. When you scroll down, if you want a subheading, if you want a heading, the text you want there, the buttons and where you want them to link. This links to a fantasy football team, apparently. I must have been messing around with that. So, and then you go down there so you can see the different functions there that you can edit on that header. The next thing over is your background. This is where I've added this video in. And so what I've done is I took a video from YouTube and put the video URL right here and it starts playing. Super easy. It will not play audio for you, but that's not necessarily what you're looking for from this. It's just a video playing. But you can add an image in. You can add several images in. You can add a slideshow in where it'll kind of slide show through that, and you can have it go slow or fast. You can also choose the dot opacity or opacity, however you say that word. I always say opacity, but that doesn't make sense. Opacity. And function that one. You can choose how your background will look from an overall standpoint. So the color, the height of it, the overlay, the different layouts, where you want the text to be. So right now the text is in the center, but maybe that is annoying for the video, so you can space it out. I could put it over there, so it's going to drag and reload the page, and it's going to move it over to here. And I changed it to the image, if you notice too, so it's no longer on the video, so it's going to screenshot through that. So you can make this header look the way you want as people come in. And so definitely take advantage of how you can play with this and really build this up to be something that the first time someone sees this website, they can go, wow, or I want to click that, or I want to know more. It's got it. You want it to catch them, and make sure the quality of what you put in here is good quality as well. That's super important. And so that's your home page. As you scroll down, you just have a regular web page beyond that. So this is the only page that has like this super fancy header. The other pages will have headers that you can edit and change, but they'll be a little bit simpler. But you have blocks. And as you go down, you can see there's event blocks. There's just text blocks. There's even just kind of like little icon clicking blocks with a picture on the left. There's contact form. You can put whatever you want on these pages by adding a block. And you say, well, how do I add a block? Well, that's my next step here. So adding a block, a little plus symbol over here on the left. And where you click this plus symbol is where the block will be added. So when I click this, it's going to get popped in right between my header and this next block below. If I go down a little further, I can click this block here. And you can see it allows you to kind of go through and place it where you want. And so I'm going to add a block in between my header and this text block right here. And I click plus. Let me see. Boom. I add the block in. And it gives me a bunch of options. And note there is a scroll down option here. So there is a lot of options here. All of these options have different base or root functions. And so if you want to focus on adding a photo gallery, you can pick the photo gallery. If you want to add an events section, And those could be added in multiple places: news or sermons or blogs or people, icons, contact form, a map, giving link, testimonials. You can see all of it. And then there's this really cool one called Legacy. Legacy is just what you actually already see there. It's just a base block that has nothing built into it. And from there, if you want to edit the functions within a block, so you can see add block. When you're inside the block, you can come over to this pencil and edit the content. And depending on what content is in there, it will edit that specific content. So this events one, I can edit the events. For this one here, for the different icons, I could go over and edit each icon separately or add icons. So anytime you add in a block, make sure you're aware of where the pencil is. Those are the elements you can change within that block. And then lastly, you can play with the overall features of that block. And so for this legacy block, over on the far right corner is my edit block. And this is where you could do most of the stuff that you imagine you want to do for design and editing. So the overlay color, if I don't like it to be blue, I can make it red. Or if I want to make it this kind of white color there, or this darker color, you could go through and change this to be whatever you want there. The opacity, if I drag it down, you can see it becomes less overwhelming or more prevalent. And then scrolling down the height maximums, you can make it bigger or smaller. Your vertical padding, you can go through all of this and really kind of lay out how you want this to look. You could do a contain or full. Similarly, you can add a background image or a background video. This video, by the way, does have to come from Vimeo. And so, unlike a lot of other stuff, YouTube can be part of it. You could put the video here as well. And then keep going over it. You could change the layout of it. So if I don't want the text that way, I could go through and change. I don't know why that did that. My screen just refreshed. You could change the different layouts of it. The legacy one doesn't have as much functionality with changing layouts, but other ones will have more. You could change the fonts directly on that page, whatever shows up there. You could change if there are buttons, you can edit the buttons. If there are icons, you can edit the icons. And then finally, in the settings function, this is a really cool detail I think a lot of churches miss within our Tithely Site Builder, is you can turn it off. What's great about this is if you turn the publish block off, I can still make changes to this block, but no one will see it. It's off. And so if you're building something you don't want people to see as you're building it, unpublish it. Another great function is to check out when you look at your mobile phone or your tablet or a desktop. If it doesn't look great, a certain block doesn't look great on a certain device, you could turn it off so that it won't show up on that specific one. It'll make your life a little bit easier in terms of not needing something that doesn't look great. And then finally, you can reorder blocks on the page. You could clone this block. And lastly, you can delete it. So, I don't need this anymore. Now, please keep in mind, once you delete, there's no undo. You're not going back to this block. It's going to remove the block permanently for me, and then it's going to just show up what's there. And so that's a basic block overview, and that's a basic homepage overview. Do keep in mind, every page has blocks, and every page you can add a block to and build it however you'd like to go for it. And so that is kind of the blocks overview. I'm going to keep going here. So the next thing I would like to cover with sites, what I think is really helpful, is under the admin button in the top right corner. So this is the different functions within the site that you can play with and edit. I'm going to give you a quick review of each and then jump into some of them because I think it'll be very helpful. The way to look at this, and this is how I like to describe this: content is what you have in your website. Design is how that content looks. Settings is just how you can set up all the different functions and elements and backdoor elements of all that stuff. People and users are going to be for the speakers you want to include on your website, or different groups in your church that you want to have presented on your website, like your board or your eldership or your deacons, whatever those might be. Newsletter is exactly what you can imagine. It allows you to create and send newsletters that people can subscribe to right on your website. And that, by the way, is separate from our app messages that you send out and the other functions you can email out and text out from Breeze or our Tithely People function. And so it's another way that you could send out stuff. It's different. It doesn't link to those two. And then plan your visit is a great way to set up a button on your homepage that allows new visitors to click and learn about what it's going to be like or what it's going to be like to show up at your church, and you can gather information about them. I'll demo that in a little bit because I think that's super important. And then finally, menus. And menus is super important because if you come up to the content and make a new web page, you have to map it in menus for people to find it. And so those are kind of the functions there. I'm going to jump into content and show you really quickly. So as I said, content is where you add stuff to your web page. What's great about content is it just shows you everything that's built in. that you want added to. So for example, events. I have a bunch of random events I've made as tests. So you can add an event right here. When you click on it, it loads up, lets you create the event, fill out all the work that you want to do in it. I'm not going to go through each detail here. It's pretty intuitive. Kind of go through and pick the dates. If you want it to be all generating new dates, you want all day images, video URLs. You can attach files to this event, registration links from Breeze or other places. Other there, you could show where you want it to show up. And again, whether or not you want it published or not. If you don't want it published, uncheck this button and you can publish it later. That's creating an event. You could add a news article. You could create posts here. You can add a blog article. You can add pages. Now, this I want to spend a couple minutes on because this is super important. Pages is where you can add a brand new page to your website. But as I mentioned before, I'm going to show you in a couple minutes. When you add a page, that page does not exist linked anywhere on your web page except within the settings, which most people won't have access to. You'll have to map it to somewhere in the menu or link to it in some way or form. But you can create all these different pages that you want to create up here. If I click add page, title, subtitle, if it's associated with another page, an image, downloads, you can password protect it, which is super cool. Meaning if you have a members only page and you don't want everybody to be able to get in there unless they've met some kind of metric or have met with the minister or whatever it may be, maybe passed some kind of classes, you could set up a password protected page to get in there and go for it. Some people put their church directory behind a password page so that not everyone could just go and grab the directory if they'd like. So that's the pages, collections, and programs. We're not going to go into super details on this, but what it basically is you can create a collection and then a group of programs can be built under that collection. So for example, if you have a small group collection, or if you have a youth ministry and you have the different ages, you could create a youth ministry collection and put first to second programs, third to fourth program, preteen program, teen program. You can build those all up in there and really be able to separate up those groups and see how they're built up. And then what's cool is each one of those has their own landing page that those specific people look for the information, go check out. That's again, that's kind of deeper level, right? That's next level of stuff there. Podcasts, you can add in a sermon individually or a series. Tags, you can live tags and quick labels for things, and live streams. And so this is where you can add in your content. What I'm going to skip down to is menus because I want to show you why content after you build something, menus is important to go to. So I'm going to add a page right here live as we go through this and make sure it works. I'm going to call this called the webinar page. All right, we'll just call it that. No subtitle, no association, no image. Just going to scroll down and say great and then create this page. So now this page has been made, it automatically boots up. You can see it gives me a title and it gives me just a generic white bar where I can edit some text in there. Or if I want to say hello, add that text in, perfect. And then I could go in and add blocks and build out whatever I want. Go from there. So now that I've made that content, I can go back inside here. And where's my webinar page? Under pages here. So now it's down here. I got a webinar page and I could click inside there and edit or clone the page. When I load it up, I'm going to come up here and copy the slash webinar page just to show you something here in a second. But now that I've got the page, now what I want to do is go to menus, which I showed you in menus. Menus is how you map everything. So right now, there's no way to get to that webinar page. It's not mapped anywhere. It's not linked anywhere. Unless I have the exact URL, I'm not getting it. But say I want to add it to my home page up here at the top. Well, I come down over to, I went to admin, I went to menus, I come to add link. So what I'm going to do is call this webinars, right? And then I can go in here and do slash webinar page. And that would live link it to it. Or instead of doing that, it actually built it right into me. So I can go to link custom. I can go to pages and I can find the page I want to map to, which you saw webinar page. And now what's going to happen is this webinar that I'm adding in is going to map to that new page I've just built. I hit save, screen's going to refresh, and now I have webinars right up here. So I've made a page and I mapped it to the home menu at the top. And so it's a really great way to go through all that. And so anything content-wise that you build out, you always have to make sure that you're putting it somewhere so that people can access it later. If you just make a page, you won't find it until you put it somewhere. And I'm going to continue working on menus here to show you what else you could do. So what's great is you have your main bar, which is this across the top. You have your top bar, which is this up here where contact and all those links to social media. You have your footer, which is down the bottom right here. And you're able to go through and change what shows up where. This is important because some of this stuff is what those first viewers are going to want to click on. And so, for example, the home main thing, you don't want every single option here. It's going to be overwhelming. This is way too many. You want two, three, four so that people know what they want to grab and click into. And you could do a couple different great things with this. What you can do is you can do a a home page like I did there. I made a second home about. You can kind of go through all that. And you also can do sub menus or drop down menus. So you can see ministries has a drop down menu right here. How you do that is you come into whatever link you want to add to. You click the three dots next to it and add a link, and that would add a sub menu to that function. I'm just going to hit save. It's not going to link anywhere, so it won't work. But just for now, oh, I have to link it. Sorry. Let's link it to a page. I'll just link it to the webinar page for now, just so I have some place to put this. I thought I could do without it. And now what happens is, boom, I now have a sub menu there under home 2 where they can go down to that sub menu. And that's where you could do that. So you could build a new, you can add a link, which will add one to the top, or you can add a sub menu to it and build out that main bar. Top bar, same thing, except you're playing with what's up here. So you can add more links across the top. And footer, same exact thing. Test page. It comes down here, it adds a test page. It also adds all the other links there at the bottom too. So when people are down the bottom, they can see what's on the home page for that main menu going across. And then finally, this page menus. You can go through all this and choose and edit the different menus that show up for those pages as well. Haley, did you have something to say?
We definitely have plenty of questions to go through, so I just wanted to let you know that we have a lot of great
Right.
questions, so leaving plenty of time for Q&A would be great.
Sounds great. We're going to go through this a little bit quicker then. So under admin, we got content and menus. I'm not going to go through design for you, but basically within design, you change how everything looks and what it looks like and where it looks like it. So super
Actually,
important.
Dan, can you review
Oh,
this colors page? Because there was two
sure.
questions on that specific area.
Go for it. What is the questions?
They just wanted to know how to change the theme colors of their website, which is
Oh,
the page you're on now.
perfect. Right here. Perfect. So this is your global color settings. And so what happens, you pick a primary, a secondary, and a tertiary. What happens there is you pick that image and then going through, that's what's going to show up on your different sites pages as you build them out. What's really great is you could come in here manually and just kind of pick the colors you want. So I like to pick like a purple color maybe, and that'll change it to that, my secondary color, and then the third color as well. And I also can show or hide contrasting colors. So if you want to update the contrasting color, FFFF, I believe, is just a white shadow, so you don't see anything, but you can change that to be different. And then finally down below, there's going to be the last ones you do. So once I hit save, it's actually going to save that one that I just did. Oh, no, it's taking so long to save. Maybe it's the Zoom room. Boom. So you can see I saved the update. It shows me the three colors I have. And oh, actually, I want to go back to a different one. I want to go to this one here, the gold one. I can click that one. That's weird. That's not showing up gold, but it's gold there. Oh, I must have edited it. So if you go through and edit, so you can come through and pick the ones you want and then hit save, and then it's going to change it to match those colors. And so also another great thing here is there's a colors on Tithely Site's help article. If I open a new tab, this will walk you through kind of exactly where everything will show up here. And so accessing color sites, what determines the color placement, and then overlay. So it kind of shows you where it's going to look like and how it's going to look depending on how you change stuff. So definitely get a chance to read through that. But this is where you change your overall color scheme for your site. No, there's not a fourth color. I know we've been asked that before. It's the three colors right here. Beyond that, same thing. You can go through fonts and choose your font option 1 or 2, and then you can see what it looks like. And then you could choose the different edits of those fonts for different things. So subheading 2, I want that to be font Avro, and I want that weight to be 700. Whenever you pick that font style, it's going to do that everywhere else. So it's a really helpful way to control the fonts over everything. If I hit save. Logo, we update a logo. Headers, we change how the header looks color-wise and edit-wise. Top bar, main menu, all the same thing. Footer, same thing. Buttons, you come in and choose how buttons look. Your live stream, what you want your live stream page to look like. So again, design through here, go through each one of these and really kind of make things look the way you want them to look. It's super helpful functionality. Settings. I'm not going to spend a ton of time in settings. We can go to more questions at the end, but settings is something that you should just go through each one and know it's there. But a couple very important functions. Features. If you want to turn on the sermons function, the newsletters function, or the plan your visit function, which by the way, you can see right up here is in existence, you have to turn them on and then you can edit them and make changes to them. And you'll see that's when the newsletter and plan your visit will show up here. Sermons will show up under an ads quick edit function. Domains, this is super important in our settings. This is how you make your site go live. So right now, my site is a staging site, danielmacdougall.tithelysetup.com. Any church who signs up for a website, you will get a staging site. Now, technically, that site is live. If someone has a URL, they can get there. But that's not what you want. You don't want some weird URL. You want your URL. So once you're ready, follow the steps here and do this help article to add your domain and push it live. Locations, map, social media links, search engine optimization. It's all built in. Go through it all. Another cool thing, site maintenance. If you want your site to be down because you're doing some major changes for a couple hours, you could turn on site maintenance mode. It'll just put a note when someone shows up to the website. It'll say, "Hey, here's your site. It's under maintenance. Come back in a couple hours and it'll be fixed." Blah blah blah. Whatever tagline it kind of says there, and that allows people to know that you're working on a big project and they're not wondering why the site is broken. Google Analytics, if you have it, you can map it to it. Redirects let you kind of redirect from one link to another link. Translations, this is cool. If you don't want the word archive to show up, you could change that word to mean to be something different. These are built-in words within the site that you want to say something different, like blog instead of blog. You want to call it morning toast, I don't know, or blog toast or something like that, something fun. You can have it change to say that as well. Organization groups, this is a great function. This allows you to build out groups, and then later on, when you add people, you can associate them to a group, and then you can show those groups on different pages. So if you want everyone to see your full staff, you can make a staff page, a speaker page, an elder page. I put a stream master in there because I was working with a church that really wanted to add a couple new people. And then integrations. Finally, integrations are there's not a ton of integrations at this point, but one of them is your Tithely giving link. So make sure that is in here so that it's integrated into your Tithely, which if you build a site, it will be by default built into there. So that is your settings page. People and users, super simple stuff here. You add a person. I'm just going to delete that. You come in, you give a title. We're going to call this person webinar test. So I hit that. So you don't have to add in anything else. You could just literally put their name in and you could do that information if you want. I hit save profile and I've created a person within my Tithely website. And I'm going to show you why this is important. You could give them permissions to access certain websites, things there. Yes, this is only for those who just have a Tithely site from a long time ago. For now, most people have Tithely Giving or some other product as well. All of those settings are edited in the Tithely side, not in the site side. So please don't feel you have to learn all this function here, but it does exist within here. But groups is what I was talking about. If I go into edit, I could say this webinar test person, I want them to be known as an elder and they're also on staff. And so I hit save. Now going forward, if in any of the blocks I add to the site, if I add a people block and I choose it to show all the elders, webinar test will show up as an elder on that block. And so this is kind of, you can add people to your site to be seen for just different labeling purposes. And you always can come in here and edit and play with the different functionality that exists. And so I'm going to jump out of there, but that's a great people function. And again, once they're over here in this side in the people list, I can get rid of them. So I said I want webinar test, click the three dots, edit, suspend, or archive to move on from that. All right, let's keep going. That's people users newsletter. We're not going to cover that today. That's going to get too in depth. Plan your visit is just a great function that allows you to set up a walkthrough of what people show up. So I've already built one, so I'll kind of show you. We'd love for you to join us. This is a plan your visit. So the idea is click here to plan your visit. If I click this, it shows up in this pop-up. How many people are saying, wow, that background color is rough. I got to edit that. I say 4 people are showing up. What's my name? I'm going to say Dan Mac. Hit next. Email address is required. So Mac I'm just going to make something up. It's not a real email. Next. Phone number, it doesn't require it. Next. Which location I want to visit. I'm going to say second location. Which service I want to go to. I want to go on August 28th, Thursday. And then the 10 a.m. service time. Click here to ask any questions. We can't wait to meet you. I got to change that edit. That's fun. And click here to ask any questions. And then from there, it'll load them onto a page I want to load them to. So you can create this plan your visit. And then what's great after that is once they've filled that out, you in the background could come in and check this out and see October 15th at 2 p.m. No, where's the one at there? August 20th. this is the one they picked there. I'm going to see 4 people are showing up on that service, and I can click in and see who they are or see the person is and know who there's coming with. And so you can prepare what you want for that. And so that's admin there. That's the last kind of part there for plan your visit. It's really helpful. You control all the different functions you want within it. Last thing I'll show you, and then we're going to do some Q&A and some other stuff there. Super important, this quick add button. What's great about this quick add button is instead of going into the settings function, you get this plus. There's an event. You can quick add an event, a news post, a blog post, a sermon, series, newsletter if you have an active page, and a live stream. But active. This allows you just to quickly add something. So say I want to add in an event super quick. I can hit plus right there. It loads up the event. I put in the information, the date, and I hit create event, and boom, that event is saved and it's ready to be shown and seen what's going on. So instead of having to go into admin and gun content, you can do that. And it's really helpful to get through what you want to get through. I did lie. I want to show one more thing. For those who want some extra onboarding and want more time to go through that, the little help guide here. When you click this, this does have an onboarding guide. If you hit this arrow over here, and it kind of walks you through and shows you some of the videos that have some information about how these functions work. It's worth coming into this and checking this out. And I back out of that. And then there's a launch kit, Tithely University. There's a contact us, and there's quick start guides with step walkthroughs and help articles. And then, as always, something really important to utilize anytime you have questions outside of reaching us through the chat bubble, you can always go to our help page, which I had here already. And you can, well, actually, I have here. You can go up into Tithely, click Help Center, keep going through sites, and you can load up all of our site content and click into the different areas you want more information about. So if I want to know more about the newsletter, click Sites and Newsletter. These are all the help articles that talk about the newsletter and how I can use them and leverage them to build and create more through our newsletter. So that is a lot to cover, and I went pretty quickly. I'm sure there are lots of questions, so let's get to the questions.
Yes. So I'm just going to kind of go through here and see, of course, I answered some along the way, and then, of course, you reviewed some of them. So um, let's see. I think one of the things I wanted you to review was when they are originally building out their site and they choose a template. Once
Mhm.
that choice is made, it cannot be undone, but the
Correct.
site has enough abilities to edit it to make it however they want to look. So unfortunately, the like ease of choosing a pre-made template, that's already once it's chosen, it can't be unchosen. However, you can constantly edit your site to look exactly how you want. Is that correct?
Yeah, and so back to the PowerPoint, these are the 6 layouts you can get. So you can see this one has the text in the middle with the top up there being that way. But say you wanted to make it look like this one down here, you would just go through and change the way the header looks and way the and way the I'm forgetting what that word is called. No, the header. I'm saying it
Menus
right.
and
The head you in the home menu. Yeah. So I could come in here and say, okay, I want it to look more like this over here. So that I would just come into here, go to the edit header, come over to the style, or no, sorry, the style. I'm right, and then find the one that puts it to the middle. So there we go. This
gotcha.
puts it to the middle. I pick that and hit save, and then boom, it kind of moves over to that one. So all of those layouts have been built using kind of the functionality within it. So you can always make something look like the other one.
Got it.
It just takes a little work to get there. But
Awesome.
yes, once it's built, it's
Someone
built.
also asked for just like top tips. You were giving some really good tips earlier on about like different age groups and how they approach the website. And so
Mhm.
Kate was wondering, we'd love to hear top tips such as what should we all be doing with our websites this day and age, and what should we not be doing? Tell us what to do and what to avoid. So that idea of like how should they use their website as a tool for their
Yeah.
congregation?
Well, as I said already, I think a really good function is this background video can be what's it like showing up to your church. People kind of get a feel for it. I think a video of your pastor or your minister or someone that is well respected at the church talking about it is also a really great intro level. What you want to avoid is super long paragraphs that have tons of information. You want summary, you want short, you want quick. Now you still want that other stuff in the on the web page, right? You want to put it behind like under ministries. If someone clicks in the ministry page, you don't want so much information all of a sudden when you click into the ministries page, right? I didn't build this page out yet, but you don't want it to be like paragraph to paragraph and they got to scroll for 3 hours. You want it to be like,
Yeah.
we have 10 great ministries and we want you to sign up for one and then have a link to each one there. And if they want one, they'll click it and they don't have to see everything that's in there.
Yeah.
Or the about us, like what your church believes. Similarly, I've seen some really great churches come in with an about us page. It has like 5 bullet points, like bang, 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 but each one's hyperlinked into a deeper growth. So the person that really is just trying to get a quick view can see what they
Yeah.
want, but then someone that wants to spend the extra time researching can look into it. And so that's super important. Your homepage should not be an eternal scroll. I know it's hard. You feel like you want everything on your homepage, but it shouldn't keep going. Actually, that's why I built this home to page. Let me show you this. Oh no, but then I got rid of it with the sub menu. All right. Well, this homepage before I added to it was an eternal scroll, and it went on for like it was like 20 second scroll. I just kept adding things. You don't want them to start scrolling, and they get to the bottom after 10 minutes of scrolling or even 30 seconds of scrolling, and then they saw something they had to go back for it. You want your homepage to have like 3 good
Yeah.
blocks that will map to where you want to, but it gives them who you are. And you really, really want to showcase what church you are, and you really
Yeah.
want to showcase who you want to come. Now, obviously, we want everyone to come to our churches, right? I'm not saying that you're trying to be selective, but if you're trying to grow your youth movement in your church, which I know a lot of churches are, and you have a
Yeah.
bunch of pictures of things that don't emphasize anything about youth, that's going to immediately be a disconnect, and they're not necessarily going to pursue it. So, in a lot of ways, you build your worship services, you build your website, you build your app on what you want to become, not what you currently are all the time. And not that you deceive people, you still have to be who you are, but you want to present this is what we're building, this is who we are, this is what we want to
Yeah.
showcase. So, yeah.
I agree. Yeah. I think the two roles it serves your website would be a welcome mat, the first entry for people looking for new churches. I know for
Mhm.
me when I was looking for my church, or even when I go out to eat, I'm looking for their website to get a look in, my first look
Yeah.
into what I can experience. The second thing it serves is an update for events for your members already. So I can go to my church's website and I can see my current events. So I think those are the two things it serves. So that's great. Thank you, Daniel. I
Perfect.
also added in here. So currently we do not have a merch store function. There is
No.
Tithely Pay, which is actually an app that your members can use. This does connect to the Tithely system for processing payments for you. Right now, we don't have a function where that is shown on your website, but we do recommend leaning into Tithely Pay when it comes to merch shops. You can
Mm.
obviously show on your website what merch you have to offer and then say on your site to download the Tithely Pay app to purchase some of those items.
Yeah.
And then Dan already reviewed that color palette question. Can you show real quick, Daniel, the ability to view a website from a mobile app and make edits on the mobile view? Do you know what I mean by that? There's the desktop view and then there's a mobile view. And they were wondering, how can I see what it looks like from a mobile view?
So you'd have to actually go visit it. It doesn't actually show up on here when you're making those edits, but you're able to choose whether or not something shows up as a mobile view. So, like for example, this block, if I don't want it to show up on the phones, I can click the
Gotcha.
different things and it
iPad
won't
and
show up there.
mobile,
But if you want to see what it looks like physically, just go to again. If I went to
your phone or an
danielmacdougall
iPad. Okay,
dot titlysep.com, I can go right there and see it. And so,
great.
and most people won't find it unless you give them that link, the staging
Gotcha.
link.
A couple other questions were if someone has the church management system Alvanto or the church management system
Mm,
Breeze and they want to link up their events.
yes.
I did share some links on that. Is it easy to show in events where they were able to project their either Breeze events? Let's go with Breeze. I had more
Yeah.
questions on that one
So
to add.
Breeze doesn't map over from Breeze directly. And so what
Okay.
we recommend is build your event inside of Breeze, get in there, make the event look awesome and simple. And then what you can do is you take your registration link that you have inside of Breeze and bring it over and post it right here under the registration link. And so that will allow people to register for the event through Breeze, but you still have to build the event on this side. And there's a good reason for that. The Breeze side is a back end kind of element. So it's kind of creating a calendar. It's not going to be as pretty. It's not going to have all the pictures. It's not going to have all of the extra functionality you can edit within it. And so in general, the site builder is going to have a better ability to do what you want. Like you can embed whatever you want into the body of this event. You can add images, you can add a video URL link, you can add downloads. So if you have like something that people have to sign to come to this event, you can add that there in buttons. And so build it in Breeze and then link it in here and inside Tithely. And the same thing with Elvanto at this point. Build it in
Okay,
Elvanto and then take the registration link and build it over here in the
got
website
it.
and put it in there. And so that's why it helps to have somebody, if you do, that works on your website, just say, hey, I want you to build this event. Here's the registration link. Go for it. You know, kind of have them go from there.
Awesome. Thank you. And then I pretty much thought I wasn't quite sure on this question. So I know some of our users already have their app built out. It's really beautiful. They like the way it looks and the themes and the content. They were wondering if there's an easy transition to going from an app that's built out to making the site look similar. I didn't think there was really like an easy kind of, one push button system that does that transition over, but do you have any tips on how to get your website to look like your app? Or is there anything that I'm unaware of that connects those two?
Hmm. So I think theme and color is a great mapping. A great way to match it. There is no way to take your app and just kind of pop it out as a site because it's
Yeah,
just built so differently. Now, what's ironic and interesting is our app builder is built from a site. So you could build your site first if you haven't yet already, and then build your app from there. And that's a little bit easier
cool.
direction. But what I would suggest is you don't want them to look identical. You want the app to be more of a home kind of landing spot for your members and people who
Yeah,
are been coming to really see the information they want. Where the website, you do want to showcase the outward kind of here's who we are to the world kind of presentation. So it's great to have
yes,
matching colors, great to have your giving link on there and your sermons on both, like all of that stuff. But you kind of want them to be a little bit different so that it has a different feel, especially if someone downloads both, they kind of get to see the two different pictures there.
gotcha. That makes sense. Had a question on just doing a really brief review on the live stream function.
Sure. I'll just show you real quickly. Hit plus, quick add, live stream. Oh, first of all, if you didn't catch this earlier, under settings, you have to make sure it's turned on. So under features, oh no, live stream is always turned on. What am I talking about? I'm crazy.
There is
Quick
an
add.
on and off for newsletter, not live stream.
Yes, I always think differently on that. So anyways, admin, come into plus button here, live stream, or I believe you could do it right from content as well down here, live streams as well. So either one you can add. When you click and add in live stream, you're gonna put the stream URL. So Facebook, YouTube, or Vimeo here. If you don't use those and you use some other product, you can get the iframe and actually embed the iframe in. It'll take the video. Give it a title. You could pick a speaker that you've built in. Those are those groups that you've seen, or
Yeah.
guest speaker is just generic. Start time, end time. I will say, make sure you know the start time and end time goes a little bit longer. As soon as that end time reaches, the button to watch the live stream disappears. And so people won't know that it's there anymore. Simulated on or off. This is a really cool function. Simulated off means that every time somebody comes in, the video is going to start over. If they show up 20 minutes late, it's going to start at the zero start point. If you put simulated on, if they show up 20 minutes late, they're going to jump in at the 20-minute point, right where you are. And so this allows you to kind of control how you want people to come into it. So if you're really simulating a 10 to 11 service, right? And most of our services are live, so it doesn't matter. But say you were putting a video up there, you want people to watch together, you could have it just start for them where they jump in or not. And then right here, countdown top bar off and on. If I leave it on, actually, I'll just show you how this starts anyways. Let's put that video in there. Webinar, test, guest speaker, start time. We'll say tomorrow at 2:48 sounds great. We'll call it an hour long. Simulated on, countdown on. I'm not going to add any scriptures in here, but you could do that. Chat on. If you want people to be able to chat specifically on your website live stream, you could set that up. By the way, if you set this up here and then send it to your app, people on your app and your site can chat together during your live stream, whichever device they happen to be on. And then I'm going to hit create live stream. A couple things are going to happen. Edit time cannot be before the start. Oh, I never changed the date, did I? Dang it. I bet someone saw that too, didn't they? Let's go to here. There we go. Now we're good. Create live stream. What's nice is it tells me I messed up. Webinar test is there. When I go home now, or actually it's right there at the top below plan your visit, you're going to see, oh, my live stream starts in 23 hours, 58 minutes, and 58 seconds. It's going to keep counting down, right? So that's there. Once it goes live, the button will be able to click right here to go live. And that's great. What else you can do, go to content, or actually, what you could do here at any point, if you want to see what your live page looks like, just add slash live to the end. And when I do that, it's going to load up my live page. Next live stream starts in. So you can just send this link to people instead of having to worry about the button. Shows me when, and then it shows me the other live streams I've had. And so I can go back and see, oh, this, I want to see that once I click play. It would actually play for me right here, the guest live stream. Another thing that's also
Amazing.
great is your giving. If your giving is integrated, you can click the giving link, it'll pop up right there. And so it's a really cool, great way to function and play
And
around with
Dan,
it.
do you have to add it on a weekly occurrence or
Yes.
can it be a one? Okay, it has to be weekly. Got it.
Um, we don't set that way because most places you're pulling links from make you do a new link every time anyways.
Got it.
So it's kind of a pain, but it's gonna make sure you have the right link up there, which is important too.
Gotcha, gotcha. Um, Great. Thank you so much for that. Just a few more questions
Yeah,
here.
okay,
For the
let's keep going.
hyperlinks in text, other than possibly creating a button, is there like a really helpful way to make it contrast and stand out? So if you were to make something a hyperlink
Hmm,
in that paragraph, like bolding, changing the color of the text, like is there a way to make it stand out more than just a typical hyperlink?
that's a good question. I have not played with that much. That's an interesting typo right there. Let's hit save. So that's how it pops up.
Can we
I
make that
can't.
bold?
That's what I'm wondering. So yeah, you can
Okay.
bold it,
Bold
um,
it is an option, and then that's pretty much
underlined it, and
got it.
italicize it. You can also
Okay,
choose the text it is. But that
gotcha.
edits the whole text of that
Yes.
block.
Okay.
So,
Maybe
but
they can make
I
it a
mean,
separate block, just the
the,
hyperlink, and then that way they can make it larger if they
yeah, so
wanted.
you could come into here and not using a legacy because that's a one off. But if you come to one that has like a bunch of these like this, add element, I
Yeah,
believe you should be able to come into here and play with this a little bit more. No, this doesn't
make a
give you the
link.
option, but yeah, like you could do something like that and add it next to something with these buttons. But you have a little bit of play, but
Mostly,
yeah,
yeah, mostly recommending a button would be the best way to use like
agree,
hyperlinks. So have a
agree.
sentence, add a button. When it comes to these blocks, if you accidentally make one you no longer want, can you just quickly show how you would easily remove that if you
Yep.
make a block by accident?
So edit block settings down the bottom here is delete. Um, I will always suggest here as well, clone block. It only clones it to be on that page. So you can't move a block from one block to another, one page to another
Got it.
page. Reorder blocks. I'll even show this real quickly. So reordering a block, if you don't like where it's on the page, you can actually come here and see. So you can see my main information, my contact form, and my page content. I could take this and swap places with those specific
Perfect.
blocks I've built. And then when I hit done reordering, that
Awesome.
contact form is going to be at the top
Got it.
underneath that one I built there.
Okay,
So
great.
here,
That's really helpful. So we did notice that in your review, you have something called people groups. And for some people with sites, they're not seeing that option. Who has availability for people groups and sites?
that's just a group I made, probably people groups. Where was that? Are you talking? Oh, peoples and users here. Okay,
Yes.
so everyone has access to this. If you're now, if you've been given access to sites as a user within sites and not from Tithely's side, that might be a little confusing. What I mean is, if you've been given access sites from the Tithely access to things, you should see everything within here. You should be no
Okay.
restrictions. If you log directly into the website and not through Tithely's dashboard to get here, you may have restrictions on that. So whoever's asked that question,
Gotcha.
but people and users, when you click in, if you want to play with it, if you just click on anybody, Bob Smith, and oops, I clicked the wrong thing. I meant to edit him. I apologize. If you come in here and hit edit, down the bottom here under groups, if you hit edit under the groups function,
Got it.
manage organized groups is right here.
Perfect. So
And
if they're not seeing
also,
this, it's probably a permissions thing. They don't have the
yes,
permissions to see that part. Okay.
yeah,
Got it.
because right here you can even see, for example, this person has no permissions that I've made. If you've been given access through the site to get in here and you
Yeah,
only have like events checked off, then you wouldn't see that functionality.
I see.
But if
Okay.
you've been given access from Tidely's side, it shouldn't matter. You should see it no matter what. You also can
Gotcha.
access the admin function or the groups function under settings. Right down here, organization groups. You can see those same groups I made. So I went
Gotcha.
admins, settings, organization groups, and then boom, it's right there.
Perfect. In the phone view, when they pull up this on their phones, are they able to make edits when on the phone view?
If they're logged in, they can try to. It's not going to work
Probably
great.
not super
I,
easy.
I
Got it.
I
Okay.
wouldn't suggest it unless you got the flip phones, not the flip phones, those fold phones that are practically tablets. That might give you some option, but yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Um, awesome. Let's see. We
Look at that
have a
last
lot
question.
of questions and yeah, let me see here. For
I
the
can answer
rest of
that
these
last one.
questions, yeah, for the rest of these questions, there's a couple more, but we'll make sure to get you guys connected with the supports team. But yeah, if the last one you want to just go over plan your visit one more
Yeah.
time, that'd be really
All right.
helpful. Thank you so much.
I really like it. It's one of my favorites. So once you've turned it on and plan your visit, right here's where you kind of build it out. And so the first thing you do is this shows you the visits. This is where you're going to see how many people are coming to what service, and you could filter by each specific location or services or all, right? And then under services, you can build out, this goes into the settings function, but you can choose how many services you have and what location they're a part of and what day of week and all the start times. You can build out all the services. And so that's what people are selecting from when they plan their visit. This is a really cool thing, display. So the first thing to note is where do you want this to show up? So I want this on the top bar, the bottom left button. Where is it down here? Plan your visit. Oh, right here. Visit me church, plan your visit. That's what shows there. And then the main menu as well, right here. So you got to choose where you want it to show up. And that's how it works. And then there's two extra displays, your exit pop up. This is cool. If someone clicks plan your visit and doesn't finish it, you can enter in here what you want them to see. And so, for example, I click in and go, I don't really get this information. I can have a pop up saying, hey, we noticed you didn't finish. Here's some great information about our church, anyways. So you can kind of control what they see if they don't finish that part. Or the thank you pop up is where that typo was. We can't wait to meet you. And so I could edit that to say, can't wait, and then hit save down here. But you could change the heading, the body, a video if you want. You can have a button which links them to contact us, or you can have a button that links you to another website. There's a lot of great functionality within that. And then lastly, going a little further down, not lastly, the locations. So you click in here, you can add the locations you want to be involved. So I get Visit Me Church, second location, and that's how when they're going through which location they may pick. Notifications. This lets you choose who it gets sent to. So every time someone fills in the details information, I want to send this to Haley. So I'm going to put Haley's email in because I don't want to deal with it. And so she gets all of those wonderful emails. Now, I mean, whoever is going to be your welcome usher, that's who you want to know who's going to be showing up. And then finally, reviews. This is not an automated setup. You can get reviews from people and fill them in. So there's no where this is anywhere. You can ask them to do it in a contact form and then put it in. But that's how you get the cycling down here of what's going on at the church. And so that's your plan your visit function. And just build it out to let people really know what they're coming into. Okay, so if it's not listed on your site, go to admin, settings. Settings is loading. Features. Plan your visit needs to be turned on or you won't
Ah,
see that function. Same with your newsletter and sermons. And so that will get
amazing.
you to turn on. If I turn it off, and what's cool is if I turn it off, it actually gets rid of all of the function I've built out. So if you like for a couple weeks, you don't really want that update, you want to focus on something else, turn it off and then turn it back on. Oh,
Awesome.
cool.
Well, great.
Oh yeah, we're done here, I think. So we've got a lot of fun. Thank you, Haley. I'm sure you answered like 10,000 questions. Um, I don't have the feature.
Yeah, that'd be a permissions thing. If you
Yep.
don't have the features in your menu, it means your access permissions doesn't give you access to that area. So
Yeah.
definitely check with the owner of your account. They probably haven't set you up as the admin yet. And again, if you guys have any further questions, I put in there grow at tithe.ly for any of the questions that weren't able to get answered today during our webinar. We're happy to answer those questions there. We've got a
Yep.
great team and a lot of great resources for you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you at the next webinar.
Thank
Have a great day.
you.
Bye.